channel up, etc. Swap the stream keys over. Right, restarting the whole thing. This is going to be, I believe, the first set of matches from, or set of games, the first match from Master of Islands, which is a new 1v1 tournament taking place only on the map Islands. I think the initiative for it came from Bulletchen, and he kind of recruited Pumakel to admin the tournament for him. Bulletchen put up about $175 of prize money, and that has since been added to by various members of the community chipping in a bit, and the prize pool for the tournament has now increased to $425, which is a significant increase over the initial pool, and that's seen lots of top players signing up for it. But to be fair, even whilst the prize pool was somewhat smaller, we still had a lot of good players signing up, people who consider themselves water specialists, and people who just enjoy the different type of test that a 1v1 Islands war entails compared to, for example, Arabia. I think with Islands there's a very high skill ceiling in play, although to the untrained eye it can look very, very similar, with players all repeating the same Grush strategies 90+% of the time. The devil is in the details, and there are a lot of small things going on which can really make a difference. So if it's in terms of appreciating the high skill ceiling, that I think Islands is a really good map. Anyway, enough introduction, and let's have a look at this game that we have in front of us. We've got T90 from USA, T90Official streamer and caster, of course, as well as streamer on his own channel. He's going to be in the blue. Facing off against him in this series is CZ Vokial, who I know nothing about. He's got a grand total of 2 games on his profile. People who have the CZ clan tag tend to be quite good, but we'll have to see, because he's a bit of an unknown quantity. In the seeding section, his highest rating, I think, was listed at 1690, but I don't know where Pumakel got that from, because he doesn't have the games on his profile, so whether he has another account, I do not know. We'll have to see. But anyway, I'm anticipating both players to play in the kind of 1500 to 1600 skill range, and so I think we could have a fairly even match, depending, of course, on like how many games and how much experience Vokial has on other accounts. In this tournament, game 1 is always a Viking war. After that, it's hidden civs, so the potential to see non-mirror matchups after that. Both players now at the sort of time when they're putting up their dock. Seems like T90 has headed off towards the northeast corner of his island. If we look at his scouting, he's seen some area of deep water here, whereas didn't seem to fancy this channel here. He could see some deep water there, so that could have been an option, but anywhere around to the left hand side was a little bit too close to the map edge, and he's fancying his luck docking this sort of peninsular area. But as we can see, it's not going to turn out too well for him. He's got 1 deep fish, but after that it's not really a good place, but that will be enough to last him until he's up, and then if he puts a second dock here, can move on to this fish quite nicely. Meanwhile for Vokial, it's okay, there's 1 here, so kind of similar thing as with T90, 1 deep fish within 5 or 6 tiles. Then after that, not ideal, and we'll be looking for his second dock, from which he will be producing galleys from, to also be a better one to fish out of, proceeding into the feudal age. We saw that Vokial, when trying to lure the first boar, took a lot of damage on his scout, so he was forced to lure the second boar with a villager. Did manage to do that without a loom though. For T90, where is his scout? Let's see. Probably managed to lure both boars with his scout, judging by his scout's HP. And let's have a look how both players are doing in terms of uptimes. We've got to 7, well, we're at 8 minutes now, which is a time by which you'd kind of be hoping to have clicked up by now, or around about now. Certainly not too much after 8 minutes, but we can see both players lagging slightly behind that mark. Vokial's going to opt for loom. T90's just going to keep his TC working with villagers. He's really desperately force dropping food at the moment to try and get up. He's got the 500 and he's going to click up at about 840. or just after. Basically identical times then, but just 1 second of difference between the two players, so uptime's certainly not going to be a decisive factor here. Looking at the players' builds, we can see that they both went up, I think, at 25 pop with 21 villagers, so that's 3 fishing ships and both have their scouts still alive. Always good to use this sort of time to get an idea of the full extent of the island, like the shape of it, so you can start to predict from that where your opponent's island could possibly be, and figure out where like areas of like good places for your second dock potentially, and even if you're thinking about really long term, like where you might get landed from, where you want to later on be putting houses and stuff like that to get some line of sight to the shore. We can see standard grush build. Once you click up to the feudal age, everybody comes off food basically, and you send almost everyone to wood, a few villagers to gold, and then send out an extra villager to start throwing up those additional docks. For both players, pretty much the exact same thing, so more or less identical play at this point, and with the uptimes being very similar, it's going to come down to kind of the execution of the early feudal age to see who can get an initial advantage, because right now we're almost neck and neck, even the double bit axe times within just 1 second of each other. People in the chat saying the deep fish distribution is strange. Yeah, I mean, it's what we see in the kind of channels between the islands is fairly typical. The players did indeed get lucky to find the good fishing spots close to their docks, which could potentially have been disastrous. But if we look at here, there's huge areas of open water here with very little fish at all. So it is kind of an odd distribution. Everything's shunted up towards that northwest kind of map edge there, and then off to on the eastern edge in general. Vokial being pretty aggressive though. With his first 2 galleys he's going to go searching, whereas T90, not sure where he's heading up here really. He could have looked at this island and thought maybe that's his opponent's island, but if I was in his shoes and taking a guess, I think that was an extra resource island, and Vokial is going to hit his fishing area, but T90's got the numbers advantage here and should be able to force him away. Vokial won't be able to hang around, and in fact he'll take in a couple of extra hits on the way out, although he could, if he micros really well, get some 2-for-1 shots in terms of 2 against 1 on his way back. I think Vokial could find it difficult to go aggressive in this kind of narrow passage between these 2 islands if T90 plays quite passive here. The thing is, like T90, because he's extending his docks towards this direction, he's going to have better fishing than Vokial, which, well, this one's actually quite nice to have done, but even so, that's only like 2 deep fishing good spots that he's going to be taking, whereas I think T90 is going to have, first of all, safer fish because they're right at the back, whereas Vokial is fishing more or less towards the front, and that kind of better fishing may enable T90 to play a slightly passive game or defensive game in combination with the narrow channel to defend close to his docks, and that could translate into a better castle age time. For now, both players more or less neck on neck on galley production. Vokial slightly ahead in villages though, and actually with 4 fishing ships as opposed to 3, so that could very well reverse any advantage T90 has in terms of fishing placements. Vokial getting fletching already at a decent enough time, whereas for T90 we haven't seen that coming yet. His blacksmith only now being built, and given that he fell a couple of villages behind and has 1 less fishing ship, his food economy therefore not being in quite as fantastic shape as Vokial's so far. I think he also did his initial first dock very slightly later as well. And T90 is getting caught out here now. He could lose those fish. His galleys are way out here, and those fishing ships now need to run or be sniped down. There's enough galleys here for Vokial to completely snipe them down in 1 volley as long as he groups up. And T90's in trouble now because Vokial is taking an advantage not only in military numbers and galley numbers, but also forcing T90's fish to run, and even if he doesn't manage to hunt them all down, they're not going to have been working for so long that it's going to put a huge dent in T90's castle time. So we're going to have a look at Vokial. You can see that he's already starting to float a bit of a bank of food, keeping his wood and gold resources fairly low whilst maintaining production from all of his docks more or less by the looks of it. So good job by him. The economy is starting to look in good shape, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him clicking Castle Age in a couple of minutes. Also been trading very well with the sort of very minor skirmishes between the two groups of galleys thus far. 5 to 2 kill to death ratio. That does include the fishing ships though. So actually, potentially, even with the fact that I think 3 fishing ships have gone down for T90, that could be 2-2 on the galleys, so maybe doing T90 a disservice there. But Vokial certainly looking to be slightly more purposeful with his galley movements. I would perhaps say, like a couple of times T90s seemed quite out of position when he got caught round here, for example, out here when his fish were left exposed. But really nice snipe for him there, at least, turning around and picking up one of Vokial's galleys after he'd split his army. But as I've been hinting at for a while now, no surprise to see Vokial clicking up to the Castle Age. He had 4 fishing ships working pretty well for the last few minutes, whilst T90 first of all was forced to run with his and then had to had them completely shot down. And T90 might be sensing that he's behind, and that's possibly why we see a transport from him at this very early stage. I'm going to switch to his point of view to see how things are looking. Food economy is, after losing the fishing ships, is close to 0. He's got just the 2 farms compared to Vokial with half a dozen or so now, and his Castle Age time is going to be very late indeed. Floating a bit of a bank of gold as well. Let me just talk to Alana. I need to tab out to talk to her. I accidentally replied in a spec chat, but let me see this fight first. Oh no, T90. Oh my god. You've landed the wrong island. You could see the 2 tiles of stone. Oh no. You can see that that's not a player's main stone mine. That's game deciding, unfortunately. Landing the wrong island when you're not going Castle Age in the next 5 minutes and the other guy's already up, getting War Galley, Bowsword, Bodkin Arrow. Oh, he's not realised. Second archery range in the wrong place. And I think right now what we're seeing is like a disadvantage has come from the fact that he didn't use a single galley to kind of come over and at least get a sense of the lay of the land on Vokial's island, to get a sense of like where his galleys were coming from in terms of dock positions. You can see he doesn't even know where Vokial's docks are, and to just see where the vulnerabilities are. If you're going to go on land, you need to have some scouting to your opponent's island, and otherwise you can pay the price when you end up landing the extra resource islands. He's only now starting to figure this out, but transport has gone round the back, but it's too late, having built 2 archery ranges in the wrong place. And Vokial is now cleaning up on water, taking a 20 military advantage. And the GG's come out. Even a 3rd archery range went up. I don't know whether to go to T90Official. Let me just try and work out if Milmano's still streaming there. Okay, Milmano's just hosting me. That's okay. I'll stay here. I don't know whether to go to... Hearing myself now. Sorry guys, just dealing with more admin here. I'm going to stay here on Vibly stream, so don't migrate. That makes 1-0 to CZ Vokial. And yes, as Pumakal says in the lobby, what a great way to start the tournament. T90 says, okay, I'm going to try and stop laughing. Yeah, he's also streaming his point of view from his own view as well. If you'd like to, like, watch that or or even watch both of them, just so you know, on his own channel. So now we're in game 2, we're going to see Hidden Civilization. So potential for it not to be non-mirrored. Obviously, there are some outstanding candidates here. Primarily being the other civilizations that you would see in an Ireland's team game, such as Japanese, Huns, Saracens, Mongols. Those are the ones that you would tend to see. It's going to be interesting as the tournament takes shape and progresses. Romano just coming into the game room to rub it in up to T90 about that landing location. But yeah, it's going to be interesting as the tournament progresses to see what the consensus is on the second best island civ. As I said, it should come from one of those few that I mentioned. I think personally I'd be inclined to go with Japanese. Like the bonus on lumber camps, on fishing ships, on galley line of sight, all of those very, very powerful. But that's just like my preference. You just got here. What happened with the landing? T90 landed one of the extra resource islands and built 3 archery ranges there. And it's just a wonderful way to kick off the tournament. Who said Master of Islands was just Galley Wars? So the players are into the game room now. Or into the game itself. So we should launch fairly soon. A bullet! Did you see that in the first game? That was awesome. The landing. I imagine you would have enjoyed that. Okay, that spectator delay is counting down. We're going to be in the game in less than 60 seconds. Let's see what these guys pick as civilizations. T90 was like, oh my god, his island is so skinny. Yeah, even though he hadn't scouted where Vokiel's actual island was, he had seen that extra stone mine, and then he could see 1 tile all the way around the stone mine, which told you that was a 2-tile stone mine. So there was no way it could have been Vokiel's stone on his island unless it was a bugged stone. But even, it wasn't stuck in a forest or anything, so it can't really see any reason why it would bug. The news of T90's landing has already circulated to WhatsApp, has it? Wow. Okay, game 2. We have T90 in blue once again. I'm going to check if I have team colours on. No, I don't, so they've just gone with red and blue. And he is playing, or T90 is playing as Mongols. Vokial in the red, playing as the Huns. So both players picking one of the group of civilizations, which I said we usually see in Ireland's team games, and which would be the kind of second tier below Vikings. For Vokial, he's obviously going to be benefiting from the saving on the need to build houses and both the wood and time saving that entails. For T90, he'll be taking advantage of the fast hunting of the Mongols, hopefully enabling him to get a really good uptime. On maps where you've got favourable deer, on maps where you've got favourable deer in particular, that Mongol hunting bonus can be incredibly powerful for uptimes on water and can lead to uptimes of under 7 minutes by people who have practiced it. But even the boar hunting bonus by itself is a huge deal. So something T90 having a little bit of trouble getting that second well, probably getting the second hit on the board to make sure it follows, or maybe he just strayed too far. But if he takes too much damage, like if he takes one more hit from that ball, he's potentially not going to be able to lure the second one with his scout, so he'll be eager to avoid a hit here, and he takes that hit, so that means the next, yeah, he can't go and, oh my god, even the scout going down. That's unfortunate for him, because it means he won't be able to lure his second ball with the scout, obviously by virtue of him being dead, which means he needs to send deleting that straggler tree there, because he's not liking the way it's making his villager's path, and it might even have felt like it was a factor in his scout's death. But anyway, he's going to have to lure that second ball with his villager, which is less than optimal, and especially as it's coming from quite a way away as well. But even so, the ball's going to go around the forest, which tends to slow its pathing down. He's also going to block it a bit with a sheep, although that's too much blocking. Be absolutely fine bringing that in, I would think. We'll just make sure that is the case. Gonna hopefully need to maneuver it around here to get it right into the TC, but he's going to do that. Okay, not quite optimal, but it's fine. For Vokial, scout untouched in terms of HP, so he must have done. Oh, he hasn't gone to lure his second ball yet. I guess that's as long as he gets it in really quickly. But nonetheless, I think it's starting to get to the point where that's a little bit of a late ball, and T90 is going to be well ahead. Milmar is saying it's a bad ball kill. It is, but he'll get most of the food from it. Like it's not going to be terribly bad, or because it'll be compensated for somewhat by Mongol hunting speed bonus. And I think that even with T90's misfortune thus far, I was going to say he would have gotten ahead of Vokial, but the thing is, Vokial has one fishing ship out already, and I'm just trying to make sense of my spectator dashboard then. It almost seemed like some of the fishing ships were turning into villages in the count or something. But anyway, Vokial actually 2 population ahead, let's call it that, one of those population being a scout, of course. But T90 getting close to 500 food already, whereas Vokial quite a way behind. As I said, that ball wasn't coming in that early, and I think that T90 will still have the better uptime. Given that all of the shenanigans with boars and stuff, we haven't had time to look too much at the general shape of the islands and dock positions, etc. Both players had pretty easy time docking here. It was fairly obvious for both players that they would be able to do decent docks here and where to put them. This time, unlike the previous match where there was kind of the whole kind of like circuit of T90's island between the two players, they're now pretty close to each other, and as long as they head out with galleys at the start of Feudal Age, they should find each other quite quickly. T90 in the end did manage a 7-second uptime advantage, but it felt like it could have been more. Anyway, if they send their galleys out at the start of Feudal Age, then we should see contact straight away. Given that the uptime differential is not that big in the end, it's not going to be as important as I was setting up to say that it could be when I was initially talking about it. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. In the previous game, Vokial was quite exploratory, shall we say, with his initial galleys finding T90 straight away, whereas T90 didn't actually push out and find either Vokial's docks or his island, to the extent that he ended up landing the wrong island, of course. Vokial, a little bit late, potentially adding that second dock, which, given the need to get onto 3 docks quite quickly, possibly why he's sent 2 villagers out there to kind of catch up by building the 3rd dock more quickly. Whereas T90 not ready yet to drop that 3rd dock, so I'm going to be a little bit behind on production. I didn't see if T90 got double bit axe actually. Let me just check the tech tree, because we just saw that kicking in for Vokial, but it's really important to see if he got it. Okay, he did. It's okay to delay it a little bit, but not terribly. You don't want to delay it more than a couple of minutes at most, absolute most. If you can get it straight away, then it's that's obviously something you want to be doing. Anyway, T90 galleys, that dock is idle at the moment. This one producing, this one not producing. So early lead on the military for Vokial right now. He's producing from all 3 docks and he's already got 1 extra galley. Although that 1 extra military could also be his scout, where it's still alive. Again, Vokial, first galley, being very adventurous, pushing out, finding where T90 is, looking at his scouting. He's already has a good idea, whereas for Vokial, sorry, we're looking at T90 scouting. On the contrary, he's remaining quite passive still, not just kind of moving out with 1 galley, just to have a poke and see what he can find out about Vokial's island and his dock positioning. That galley could have been fairly vulnerable if Vokial had pushed out en masse then, and it looks like he's doing okay. No, they're on patrol. I assumed that they were all going to group up and come through this channel, which could have resulted in an easy pick. And if we just look at the overall state of the game now, we see 7 population difference. That's going to be 2 or 3, well, at least 3, 4 difference in galleys now for Vokial, but also a couple of villages ahead, and a fishing ship. And now Vokial once again, just like last game, as soon as he gets a decent group of galleys, he goes hunting for T90's fishing ships. And T90 is just out of position. He's going to go transport mode again. He's going to go landing, so he doesn't care about the water already. I think this is costing T90 a lot, in that he's just not being adventurous with his early galleys to find out where Vokial is. There's something you really want to do. You want to know where the enemy's docks are, to know where they're going to be coming from, to know where they're fishing from, if you're going to contest the water. But T90's already just going to go for the landing, so he's going to go for the surprise factor, hopefully. Given the last game, Vokial will be surprised if the landing makes it to his island rather than one of the extra resource islands. Nah, I'm only kidding. But here we go. The transport is on the move. Vokial is encountering basically no resistance at the docks of T90, which means that he could think that something's up. We'll take a look at this from his fog of war for now, just to see what he sees, how early he detects T90's landing. Vokial's got his scout moving around in this area. I don't know whether it's on patrol just around here or whether he's moving it around manually, but it's nice usage of the scouting, considering that he didn't lose it initially. T90 sent 1 hurt villager and going with no loom to the enemy island as well, which is a risky play. And the landing should be discovered by the scout of Vokial now, and that's a 1 hurt villager with no loom. And the Vokial, did you not see that? Oh. Market, yeah, he's blissfully unaware at this point of view. On the water, both players with navies, but nothing happening. Let's concentrate on the more. Oh my god, archery range literally on top of the gold. T90's deleted it because he would have had 1 tile of line of sight to see that. And I think Vokial still doesn't know. There's no reaction. He's focusing on the water, and this could work for T90 now. But even so, as Bullet Chain is saying, the scout can kill all the vills. No loom, like he could easily kill 2 of them, possibly even all of them, as you say. Tower coming up. Oh no, outpost, house. Everything is in this landing for T90 though, because the only way he reclaims the water now is if his landing disrupts Vokial enough. And he's still blissfully unaware. We still see no barracks, no tower, nothing. The only way T90 can reclaim the water now is if his landing disrupts Vokial to the extent that he just stops producing the water and stops keeping his galleys active, etc. to find out if T90 is remassing or docking or anything like that. So tower's up, it can hit the gold, that's quite nice, although this gold can be retreated too. Second archery range being built. tower there is in quite a nice spot because it's going to protect the gold and the wood. Potentially could have seen it 1 or 2 tiles closer to the gold mine just to help cover the other side of the gold a little bit. But Vokial does also have the market to help manipulate the economy, and he's going up to the Castle Age as well, so as soon as that kicks in, complete and utter water dominance will be assured. Not sure why he's beached all his galleys here, but... Right, tower up, T90 archers from 2 ranges, let's see what he can do. Does he have... Okay, he's got fletching at the moment, and he's getting loom, so these villagers have had their survivability significantly enhanced now. Palisade wall going to be attempted by Vokial. He didn't get any... Okay, he got 10 HP on that one, so T90 can shoot it down if he looks. But really, 3 archers. The scout can do huge damage to 3 archers, especially considering 2 of them are almost dead. But at least a couple more are following up. Another watchtower coming out for T90, trying to take away some farmland and solidify his hold. Meanwhile, T90's kept an okay number of galleys on water, and he's actually a couple of villages ahead, although obviously he's on his way to the Castle Age, and the differences that Vokial has for fishing ships continuing to work, whereas T90 lost his almost straight away. I'd like to see Vokial adding in 1 or 2 more fishing ships over here now. He's got the resources in the bank to do it. I guess the only thing he's kind of lacking is gold, and he's making it harder for himself by palisading up his gold. He could get 1 or 2 more villages around that. Also would be worth considering chopping the tree out of the way or something, just to make that a little bit easier. But I think what we're going to see from him is a siege workshop to clear up the towers and the archers. A mangonel or 2 can probably deal with what T90 has on his island, and we see right now Vokial is taking a really nice fight on water as well. Those archers are going to dive past the TC there though. That's the thing, like, in this situation, what T90's done that's worked to his advantage here is he's built towers near the farms, which has moved villagers away from the TC. It means that there are not enough villagers by the TC for them to be, the TC to be any kind of threat to T90's archers as they go through, and that means he's doing good damage now, taking a 5 villager lead. But once again, fishing ships cancelling that out, and we have to acknowledge the fact that Vokial is in the Castle Age, and I like the fact that he's jumped on stone to get a couple of towers up. Siege Workshop also out, and a mangonel about to be popping out of that Siege Workshop, so let's see if any good shots can be landed. T90 is kind of sacrificing archers here. It feels like he... Okay, maybe he just wanted to go and stand under the tower, fair enough, doing him a disservice there, but I thought initially he was just straying past because his attention was focused elsewhere. He's doing really great eco damage to Vokial though, just in general, like the number of idle villagers that, and then like the way he's made Vokial's... Oh, here we go. Needs to go right in the middle. Okay, T90 sees it, good job. Going to be able to get away. The tower should clean all that up actually. There we go. But yeah, he's done great damage to Vokial's gold gathering economy in particular. The problem is that, like, he has to make this landing work because the likelihood of him getting any more villagers to Vokial's island is tiny at this point, because the water control is just massively in favour of Vokial. He's got this kind of 20 galley lead plus the ability to research the Castle Age technologies. I should have gone back off Fog of War a while ago, because at this, I know it looks a little bit ugly to look at for extended periods on the stream. It's best used situationally. Normano saying T90 has to click up soon. That indeed. Otherwise Vokial is just going to be able to clean him up too easily. Yeah, mangonel and even a couple of knights would work very, very well to finish this off. And Vokial can continue, even though his gold gathering is kind of well, non-existent right now. He's sitting on enough wood to comfortably sell off resources and rebalance his economy. Also nice to see, we look at this island, he's completely surrounding it, making sure there's no silly business with T90 getting back on water. That's what I was talking about earlier. The only way T90 can get back on water is if Vokial is lapsed enough and distracted enough to allow T90 to redock, but spreading your galleys is the way to counteract that. That Mangonel crucially just surviving, which is a nice save for Vokial. T90 is going to continue with the tower push. He's doing, as I said, good disruption to the economy of Vokial, but disrupting the wood isn't really an issue for Vokial at the moment because he's floating such a huge bank of it. Vokial should really be dropping farms as well. Like, he's got no food, but he's got 2,000 wood. He's also got so much stone saved up. It's almost like he's going for a castle. But he should be dropping some farms like around here. Adding a couple of fishing ships as well because he's got the water control. And just rebalancing his economy so that he has other resources other than 2,000 wood in the bank. Seeing huge dumping of archery ranges from Vokial here. He's going to go with skirmishers, which is kind of, unless he chooses to get the each skirmisher upgrade, which he doesn't really have the resources to do. It's kind of not using his age advantage to his best advantage here, because it's just fighting like feudal with feudal, when he could just have done a stable in like one night and had his 2 mangonels, and that would have been cleaning T90 up pretty easily. Opting for the castle defense. This is going to go up, but although it completely halts T90's advance more or less, and might even be able to reach this tower to reclaim the gold, it's pretty defensive in terms of what it does. It just basically keeps this area safe, which Vokial was already completely cramped into anyway. But T90 is on his way to the castle age. Vokial going with War Galley. Going to be able to reach further inland onto T90's island. And does T90 still have his villagers here? That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, he does. He's actually redocking on Vokial's island, which is a very clever move in order to retake the water, if that's what he's aiming at. Whether he is able to from such a deficit of galleys is another thing, but the surprise factor, at least, of building your docks on the enemy island instead of on your own, because we can see, oh, this is a really nice pick for T90 if he just stops those but archers moving and shoots at the right villagers. Yes, he's doing that. Okay, that's nice. Still, this whole time, Vokial hasn't been on gold. I'm going to look at T90's point of view. We haven't seen. Rare resources not looking bad. I mean, if he keeps these villagers alive to keep adding stuff on this island, it's going to look good. But Milmano in game chat with me is saying that CZ guy is going for transport, Vokial is going for transport. And massive idle fish. I'm missing this. Oh god, he has added more fish. They've just got counting as idle villagers on the overlay. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, I feel like T90's pressure has caused a lot of panic with Vokial here. And the issue for T90 though is just his island is obviously suffering from a lot of bombardment from the shoreline, but it is quite forgivingly shaped, and also like his second main gold is in a nice spot where he can still take it. I mean, Vokial did discover these docks though, so T90 should not be allowed to reclaim water. Where's the transport for Vokial? Like, because there's no landing on T90's island that I can see. So where is this transport that Milmano was talking about? Look, there we go. It's going over there. Crossbows. Oh, that mangonel shot was very, very nice. And with 2 mangonels there, all of those going down. That is a big, big blow for T90. He was doing good damage parked underneath that tower. Attacking the gold and ensuring that Vokial couldn't mine gold even longer. That knight, if it gets the mangonel, will be well used. Look at this! Oh my god. All the vills ganging up on the knight, and that's going to be a lot of vills down if... But T90 obviously no upgrade to the knight just yet. Okay, transport hits for Vokial. Let's see how early T90 sees this. Okay, it's just cavalry archers, but that can do some fantastic raiding because T90 has nothing but a barracks at home. Let's see what they managed to do. I'm going to go... Okay, he knows they're there, so let's take off that fog. Cavalry archers moving in. GG, okay. Yeah, T90 knows he can't deal with this. He's only got 1 TC, so he's got nowhere to hide all his villagers. And the mangonel shots were just a huge turning point for Vokiel. But what a great, exciting and interesting game that was. Like, when T90 went out for that early landing, it seemed like it was his last move to kind of save and prolong the game, but he actually did really, really nice damage to Vokiel there. Took away the gold economy, which was very, very important, but ultimately Castle Age versus Feudal Age was a big difference, and Mangonel's basically shutting down T90's landing in the end. But a good effort nonetheless. And a very, very nice games to start off Master of Islands. The entertainment value of the triple range landing on the wrong island and then this just chaos. Highly promising for the tournament, I think. And I'm looking forward to seeing lots more games of this. What a great way to kick the tournament off. Vokiel was seeded at roughly 1600. But he has no games on his profile, so it's very hard to tell what his actual rating was. But somebody talking about how Vokiel had no food, and that is reflected here. You see, he only collected 700 more than T90, which, when you think about the fact that Vokiel won the water so early and added so many fishing ships, which I later realised with the helpful message, helpful observation by Milano, that many of them were idle. I think they were counting as idle villagers. Yeah, the amount of fish that he added, the amount of fishing ships that he added, should have resulted in a much greater food economy than T90. But barely any difference in the end. Ultimately, though, despite the disruption, still well ahead of T90 in game state, I think. Right, let's see what else is going on. If anybody can be hosted, or maybe if another island game got confirmed while this was going on. Yeah, I think that for this evening I won't stream anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to host T90 and go offline. But look out for some more games. That if you want to know when they're going to be booked in and on stream, head to asczone.net. Look in the event calendar on the right. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys, and see you next time.